Okay, so in this video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about credit limit increases in 2020 and beyond. So to be more specific, I'm going to be talking about 4 things pertaining to credit limit increase. But before we get started, I have a quick
message.
Welcome to another video. If you're new here, my name is Duane with How to Build Credit TV, and on this channel, we talk about everything you need to know about credit cards, and how to make money using credit cards. So be sure to subscribe to the channel and smash that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Okay, so when it comes to getting credit limit increases, it is very important to consider 4 things that I will be discussing in this video. Before I get started into it though, please consider giving the video a thumbs up. It helps the channel quite a bit and it pushes this information out to more people that are looking for videos and channels just like this one. So the first thing to consider when it comes to getting a credit limit increase in 2020 and beyond is the simple fact that you need to know right off the bat, is this going to be a hard inquiry or a soft pull? Now, the reason why you should know this when it comes to getting a credit limit increase is because you don't want to go blindly into requesting a credit limit increase, even getting approved for the credit limit increase, and not know that this is going to be a hard inquiry. Now, this is important because in my mind, I feel like it makes me kind of reconsider, do I want to get a credit limit increase with this particular bank if it's going to be a hard inquiry? Or do I want to go ahead and just use that hard inquiry on applying for another credit card? Now, that other credit card could still be with the exact same bank that you're wanting to request a credit limit increase, or it could be with another bank. But my suggestion would be, if it is going to be a hard inquiry, then you may want to consider applying for a totally brand new credit card from the same bank. And the reason why is because let's say you're requesting a credit limit increase and your credit limit is currently $1,000. Now, if you don't think that you're going to get, at least maybe a $2,000 increase, then it may be to your advantage, if it's going to be a hard inquiry with that particular credit card, to just apply for a brand new card, because chances are you have a little history with that credit card company. And by a little history, I mean at least 6 months, probably even a year, to be honest with you. So you have some payment history with that credit card company. And so if they're going to make it a hard inquiry for you to request a credit limit increase, it's going to be to your advantage because you already have a $1,000 credit limit. Chances of you applying for a brand new credit card with that bank and getting a higher credit limit, I would say, is very possible. So that's why I would say if it's going to be a hard inquiry, you definitely want to make sure that you really consider, do you want to do a credit limit increase, or do you want to go ahead and apply for a brand new card? So that's the first thing that you should consider when it comes to getting credit limit increases in 2020 and beyond. This is very, very important because a lot of people don't necessarily know if there's going to be a hard inquiry or not. And this, for me personally, can make or break my decision. For example, if I know that it's going to be a soft inquiry, then I'm like, who cares? I'm going to go for it and request a credit limit increase anyway, because it's not going to hurt my credit score. All that's going to happen is I'm going to either get approved for the credit limit increase or I'm going to get denied, which will hurt my feelings, but that's pretty much it. So the first thing, like I said, that you want to consider when it comes to credit limit increases is the fact that you need to find out by contacting the credit card issuer, is this going to be a hard inquiry or a soft pull? So that is the first thing. Now, the second thing that you should consider when it comes to getting a credit limit increase in 2020 and beyond is the fact that, when do you apply for a credit limit increase? A lot of people always ask, hey, Duane, what do you think I should do? How long do you think I should wait in regards to getting a credit limit increase? Now, one of my subscribers, Gary, I like the way that he put it, because Gary said that he's really into allowing credit limit increases to take place organically. And what he means by that is that he doesn't necessarily request a credit limit increase. He just uses a card, and then over time, the credit card company will go ahead and give you a credit limit increase. Now, I totally understand if you're not as patient as Gary, and sometimes myself, because sometimes that's what I do. But let's say you want to go ahead and be proactive and get a credit limit increase. So it is very much important that I would say that you should wait a minimum of 6 months before requesting a credit limit increase. That's just me personally. When I give advice on YouTube about credit, I like to always give advice on the safe side. So I would say that when it comes to requesting a credit limit increase, you should not request a credit limit increase unless you've had at least 6 statements with that particular credit card. Okay, 6 statements, not 6 months, 6 actual statements, right? So I would say anywhere between 6 complete statements up to 12 statements before actually requesting a credit limit increase. Now, if you're a nerd and you want to nerd it out like myself, or let's say you're impatient like I can be sometimes, then once again, this is where the first step that I gave in regards to finding out if it's a hard inquiry or a soft pull can kind of come in handy. So if you're impatient and you don't want to wait a year before requesting a credit limit increase, and let's say you know for a fact that with this particular credit card, it's going to be a soft pull, then you can probably definitely consider requesting the credit limit increase after the 6th statement, because it's going to be a soft pull, so it's not really going to hurt you anyway. But that's definitely something that you want to consider. A lot of people always ask, when should I request a credit limit increase? And there are a lot of videos and a lot of different school of thought when it comes to credit limit increases out there. Some people say you should be requesting credit limit increases every 3 to 6 months. Me personally, I wouldn't do that. I would say at least 6 to 12 months, maybe 6 to 10 months before requesting credit limit increases. So that is the second thing that you want to consider when it comes to getting a credit limit increase in 2020. Now, the third thing when it comes to getting a credit limit increase in 2020 and beyond is the fact that you want to make sure that you are using that particular credit card that you want the credit limit increase. You're using that card often. It doesn't make sense for you to even consider requesting a credit limit increase on a credit card that you're not using. Credit card companies don't like to see that. They don't like to see the fact that, okay, you're not using this card, but you're going to ask for a credit limit increase. So my advice is to use the cards as much as possible. Now, me personally, I do not like to pay interest, so I use the cards and I pay them off. I use it and I pay it off. As a matter of fact, sometimes depending on how often I'm using that particular credit card, I may pay my credit card off once a week. And the reason why I do that is just because I'm a nerd. I like to nerd it out. And I actually don't like the money just to sit in my bank account. I would rather treat a credit card as if it were a debit card, right? So like normally you use your debit card, the money comes out of your bank account instantly. Well, with the credit card, you use the credit card and then maybe in 2 or 3 days, the transaction is actually posted to your credit card account and it reflects on your balance. So me personally, I do not like interest. So that is why I end up paying my credit card bills at least once a week. So you want to make sure that if you're going to request a credit limit increase, that you're using that particular credit card that you want the limit increase on very, very frequently. As a matter of fact, let's say you have a credit card with $1,000 credit limit. There may be a couple of months throughout the year where you'll make big purchases. You'll, use 500 here, use 250 here, use 350 here. And so that'll be more than the $1,000 credit limit that you have on the card. But because you're paying off the card at least maybe once a week, then it won't be a problem. And so you'll be using your credit limit is $1,000, you'll be using more than $1,000 of credit for that month because, of course, you're paying your credit card off weekly. And so I think it's a little easier for credit card companies to justify giving you a credit limit increase. Let's say you're using the card so much, you have a $1,000 limit, but you're using like $1,500, $2,500 because, once again, you're using the card, you're paying it off once a week. And so therefore your credit balance keeps going, from $500 back down to zero, or from $300 back down to zero. And so that is how you can use your credit card very often and still afford to pay it off and keep your utilization low. So I think it's very, very important for you to consider using the credit card that you're interested in getting credit limit increase. Use that credit card often. It just makes all the sense in the world. Okay, so the fourth and final thing to consider in regards to credit limit increases is that you need to know that not all banks are created equally, right? So what I mean by that is that when it comes to getting credit limit increases, there are some credit card companies that aren't generous. For example, Navy Federal Credit Union is one of the most generous credit card that you can have out there. They give very, very high limit. They even approve people that don't necessarily have a high credit score. So in general, Navy Federal Credit Union is very, very charitable. They're very, very generous. Now, in my experience, I've learned that Capital One is not so much generous when it comes to credit limit increases. So this is something that you need to sort of be familiar with, and you can probably get this information by searching the internet and kind of reading and seeing what's out there. But you definitely want to make sure that you at least know that, you know, it's not very likely that you're going to have a $20,000 credit limit with Capital One. I mean, of course, there are people that have that limit, but in general, Capital One doesn't like to give high limits on their credit card. So that's very important to know if you're interested in getting a credit limit increase, is just exactly who you're working with, what that particular credit card company is about, if they're a generous company or not, such as Navy Federal Credit Union. I love Navy Federal Credit Union. As a matter of fact, I have a credit card with them with a $25,000 credit limit, which is insane. That is my highest credit limit. Another generous credit card company would probably be American Express in regards to limits. It's not very uncommon that American Express gives out high limits, but once again, I think that this is possible once you use the card often. Use it as frequently as possible. So that's pretty much it. Those are my 4 tips in regards to credit limit increases in 2020 and beyond. If you like the video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. It helps the channel quite a bit. Please share this video with somebody that may find it helpful. Also, we do live streams on this channel on Mondays at 7 p.m. Central Time. Most of the times the live streams are going to be on Mondays at 7 p.m. Central. So please stop by if you have any questions. Join the community, support the channel, give a shout out, whatever you want. Stop by the channel, get your questions answered in regards to how to build your credit, how to make money using credit cards. All right. So once again, my name is Duane with How to Build Credit TV, and I approve this video. I'll see you in the next video. Until next time, take care and be blessed. Peace.